So in 1995, Fidel Castro went to the United Nations General Assembly, and he accused the United States of erasing his lived experience and engaging in multiple microaggressions. No, he did it. He went and talked about the legacy of his revolution that he was still fighting for in the 90s, of course. And he connected it, as he always did from the beginning, including by incredible solidarity in the liberations of Angola and South Africa, with global liberation. And then he went up to Harlem. This is in 1995. He gave an address where he reflected on how decades earlier he had met with Malcolm X and been in Harlem at the Hotel Teresa. It's a pretty incredible speech. I mean, I watched all of it. Fidel likes to take his time. There's a lot of tangents. There's a lot of talking about his fatigues versus suits, where to get a tailor. But the type of connection here, the type of solidarity, I just find really moving. And again, I think this is where we need to go. So in terms of that grounded connection, this is some of Fidel Castro in Harlem. This is just scroll down, David, just to give credit. This is
Afro-Marxist.
Afro-Marxist. Everybody go subscribe to Afro-Marxist. And this is Fidel Castro.
Injustice was obvious, discrimination was obvious to me. And as a revolutionary, I knew that I would be welcome in this neighborhood. I remember what Lincoln said, you can deceive all the people part of the time, part of the people part of the time, but not all the people all the time.
Pero ustedes fueron la parte de la gente.
But you were the part of the people
a quienes nunca pudieron
who
engañar.
were never deceived.
Aquí contó Rosamari las personalidades que vinieron al
Rosemary here said all the personalities that came to visit me at Teresa Hotel.
Líderes
International leaders
que en muestra de solidaridad
who in solidarity with me.
Vino Khrushchev.
Even Khrushchev came.
Sí, Khrushchev fue uno de los
Yes,
primeros
Khrushchev was one of the first leaders who came to visit
el
me.
jefe de una superpotencia.
And he was the leader of a superpower.
Le agradezco, le reconozco.
I appreciated that gesture that he had.
Khrushchev era un hombre de origen campesino.
Khrushchev was a peasant.
Astuto.
He was a very shrewd peasant.
Simpático.
Very funny guy.
Y subió las escaleras y no desbarató aquella.
And he did not dismantle his country, by the way.
Subió por la escalera, los ascensores del Teresa encantado, y después vinieron otros muchos líderes.
He became a leader, but after that, many of the leaders came to visit. Nehru,
una de las grandes figuras,
one of the great leaders,
uno de los grandes
historical
políticos
leaders,
de la
one of the
época.
great politicians.
Y vino Nasser,
And Nasser,
vino Nkrumah,
and Nkrumah,
uno de los más prestigiosos. Que vinieron numerosos dirigentes
many
al Teresa.
Many great leaders came to visit me at the Teresa Hotel.
Aquella grosera maniobra de hostilidad.
They rejected that gross maneuver
No
of
le rindió
hostility
dividendos
against
a
our
nadie.
country. It did not pay off for
En cambio, a mí me
anyone.
ofreció un recuerdo
Actually, it offered me
inolvidable,
an unforgettable
un
memory
motivo de gratitud
and a reason for feeling
eterna
eternal gratitude
hacia el pueblo norteamericano,
for the American people,
porque veía en
because
ustedes
I could see in
la
you
representación de las mejores
the best
virtudes,
representative
de las mejores
of the
cualidades del
virtues
pueblo
of the American
norteamericano.
people.
And he also, he joked about how he needed to wear his fatigues to Harlem. So the Cuban Revolution shed blood for African freedom. And at the time talked a lot, of course, about the abuse of the embargo. But again, it's not perfect. You can complexify any of it, of course. But that type of real solidarity, including, I mean, literally the fact that Cuba put forces in Southern Africa as a tiny nation of the Caribbean, getting, the full weight of the United States, embargoes, endless assassination attempts, backing Cuban terrorist groups, including like very much during that time. Actually, Cuban terrorist groups were super aggressive in the 90s. They thought if they could bomb, all of the hotels and stuff, it would scare away all of the European tourists and finally undermine the Cuban government. And it's still there. And it still has delivered a lot for people, as well as, of course, made plenty of mistakes. But there's something just deeply honorable about it, and very awesome to see that reaction in Harlem and that link back to his meeting in 1960 with Malcolm X and all those other leaders.
Mm-hmm. It's powerful stuff.
It is powerful stuff.
We have a good tradition.
There's a lot to draw from.
You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.